Double kill!
Danger, Will Robinson.
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero.
Zero.
Game over. Game over.
Bitcoin is going to zero.
Zero. Danger, Will Robinson.
Game over.
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Game over. Double kill!
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero.
Game over.
Good night, everyone, and welcome to another Pipeline Academy Trading with OC series. So we have just 5 viewers. Go check out the chat, guys. And also, really quick advice: take a click or really quick favor, click that like button. It really helps with the algorithm. So very sorry, yesterday I had a important meeting. At the end, I disclosed what was it in the morning market report, and we have Kelly in the house. What's up, Kelly? Welcome. Great to have you. Is it loading for you guys? Is it not? Is it not? All right, trying to look forward to it. There we go. Let's get it. All right. So great. All right, so let's go over a couple of things. We did nail out some trades in between yesterday and today, and of course since Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, and no, sorry, what was it? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I know we didn't win over those yesterday, but we did hit some alerts, and we should be in at least 2 trades. So let's get it. We have Lunar Beach Crypto in the house. How is it going, my friend? Welcome. Good evening, OC. Good evening, my friend. Great to have you here. Mike Play, how's it going, my friend? Daniel Will Robinson. Yeah, let's get it. Oh, wrong button.
Danger, Will Robinson.
All right, let's get it. Let's go to the charts. Let's take a look at what's going on. And guys, are you bullish or are you bearish? Let me know. What is it going? Let me see. Can I do something here? I believe so. So see the start poll, and I love this. Inside joke. Don't you love those people? Sometimes I'm one of those that you ask them something like, how old are you? Right? And then, yes, they tell you yes or no. All right, let's do it all like that. Oh, man, how old are you? Yes. How old are you? No. Let's go for a yes. I want to see what you guys do here. All right. How old are you? Yes. Oh, I cannot vote. A little bearish. Are you bearish? Yeah, let's go. That's so hilarious. Am I the one? 67%. How are you? Yes. 33%. How are you? No. Fantastic, guys. What's up? Hey, what's up, Gary? How's it going, my friend? Great to have you around. Go check out the poll. It's a little inside joke. You know, like when you ask somebody like, hey, what is your favorite color? And they go, yeah. All right, so guys, are you bullish or bearish? Let me know. Kelly says she's a little bearish. So do I. I think that we might have another pullback, but there's a couple of things playing out very nicely in the charts. Let's go check them out, right? And let's see what is going to be the breaking point. Let's go to the charts. All right, we have more than 6 alerts already. One of those ICP. Let's go take a look at the ICP. But before, I want to get started here with Solana just because I have it on screen. right? And this is the plan that we left out on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. This is the plan that we left out on Tuesday, looking for this movement to the downside. It did move to the upside, then rejection on 30 minutes, perfect. And then looking for the support area. What do we have there? Let's bring up all of the spaghetti all at once. And of course, everything as we can. Oh, those channels are fantastic. And let's see what we got. I know this is getting obnoxiously sick. You know, it gives me seasick in here. But I'm just trying to load them on TradingView as fast as I can. So the first thing, well, we have a reversal coming down. Well, we have a beautiful reversal. Look at that. Coming down, back at the reversal. Important. In this case, this reversal is flattening out. So that might be one last movement to the downside, all right? Another important thing, remember in higher time frames, for our time frames, we're looking for the flip of the ribbon. So I'm going to leave that as is. And let's go check that out. Just the oscillator right there with the flip of the ribbon, all right? So that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for in here the flip of the ribbon. We are below the zero line, right? But we're looking for that movement upwards. And I think we might have it really, really close to it right now. At this point, I also want to bring up a couple of indicators. There we go. We have a support. That's why we had this area of supporting here to maybe look for a possible entry. All right. And also there it is. We have a daily support with a predictive range right down there. So as you can see, many things are having its support zone all the way there. All right. This is interesting because right here we are on a void, but we did reject it out of the resistance here. Predictive range, golden line, predictive range. And finally, well, order blocks, everything's at the top. All right. Except on the 30 minutes. 30 minutes a little bit different. We're going to go check that out. So what is it important in here? Look at this. We already have our reversal. All right. And how is the strength? How is the strength? All right. So the strength, let's pair this in here. The strength is not looking that bad at all. I mean, look at that. We're curling back up and we have much more strength than before. I mean, yes, of course, to counteract this kind of movement, we need a lot of strength, right? So it is to be expected, this kind of movement. But I would actually be calling out for this kind of drop back down, right? And instead of dropping hard on the bearishness, we have a big pump, because remember, and let's use our lines in here. So it's right before we change of direction in here, all right? And starting at not the peak performance diamond, but the strength. We are analyzing the strength, right? So we're losing strength on the bearish cycle. So losing strength on the bearish cycle, up, all right? That's what I initially wanted to see, okay? But strange enough, and let me still clean this up. Strange enough, look at what we got in here. And let me try to make it a little bit bigger here. Here it is. Let me get rid of all of these spaghetti, of course, as always. And right here, peak performance. All right. Then right to my right. All right. A little bit to the right. Here is when we are supposed to be losing strength. We did. But we lose strength to the bearishness. So we were supposed to go high. So we did in here till this candle. So 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. All right. And then going back up as we then finish up the bearishness. So right now, let's see, because this is a little confusing. And that's what I'm going over this. All right. So right here. So on the bearishness, because we're still bearish, all right? Down, losing strength, and then up, slightly up, gaining strength. That's why we went down at the end of it all right? Very important. It's not about the breakout. It's about the retest, and off we go, all right? So we are on the make or break point in here, all right? So, but let's take it easy. So what is it happening at this point? First candle out on the 4 hours, all right? So first candle out, it's green. It's a green candle, all right? And very important, let me turn off the main oscillator. And what I'm looking for in here, remember, it is my leading indicator. It is my True 7. True 7 is pointing up, all right? True 7 is pointing up, and that means that the most immediate short-term movement should be to the upside. that doesn't mean bullish. Let's buy in everything 100k. Sorry, everything 100x, right? Cross full leverage. No. Remember, it is below the zero line, so we're still bearish. This only indicates a bullish bounce, all right, inside the bearish trend, because we're below the zero line. Look at your money flow; it's pretty bad. Well, and not that bad. That is because we're flat, right? And your volume matrix is starting to turn green. So that's where we have the little bit of a hint of what might be happening. So here's the deal. We have right here our reversal. Perfect. Remember, changing the trend to the upside. And it's flat, slightly pointing up. If we are able to push it up higher here, I believe that we might have the next run up, even hitting the 176, 177. Are we bouncing at 149 again? I don't know if 149 might be. Could be. In fact, maybe a little bit higher, 154, maybe within this same candle. If we're in the 4 hours, I think this will be a good area to start looking for a possible long, all right? Not confirmed just yet. Maybe one more candle. Maybe looking for a little bit of that retracement. And let's zoom into it to see if we can squeeze a little bit more juice out of that area. All right, let's go to the 30 minutes. So 30 minutes, we ended up mentioning, hey, let's go to the 4 hours because we were looking for that flip of the ribbon, all right? So yes, we are looking for that flip of the ribbon. On the 30 minutes, we are very, very, very close to a high order block, all right? Not only the high order block, and guys, allowed me to delete everything in here so we have a cleaner picture, all right? Let me see, did I delete something here that I didn't want it to? No, that's fine. I think I need to start deleting stuff from this area right here. Yeah, much better. Let's go for these brushes. And yeah, whatever they are. Perfect. So right here, we are getting to a very bullish support, right? So that is the order block. Perfect. What can we also acknowledge in here? Well, we're pointing up again. Perfect. We're curling back up. Look at that little part of the money flow. We're also increasing volume slightly upwards in here. Let me almost flat, but slightly upwards. Let me get rid of this again. Let's bring up our oscillator here. So our main oscillator shape. Okay, let's just wait for a second. And here we go. So we have a pretty bad goose head. It already have played out, right? But right now we're looking for the next flip of the ribbon, all right? So typically when we have this movement downwards, then we're looking for a movement downwards, then the bounce back up. I am expecting a higher low in here. Like, for example, after the goose head, right? Even if this is like a little bit of weirder goose head, right? After the goose head, up, right? After the goose head, up. After the goose head, up, right? After the goose head, up. Even if we ended up going downwards, right? After the goose head, up. After the goose head, up, right? So that's what I'm expecting. Could it go wrong? Yes, especially since this is not a common goose head. I mean, it is actually kind of like this, but pointing downwards. I'm actually trying to find a similar case, but everything turns to be going upwards, which again, that's what I do expect out of that segment, all right? So let's just quit messing around here and let's end up with that analysis. So there we go. After the goose head, I'm looking for a movement to the upside. It has been pumping. Let's get it. We'll take a look at that in a second. Should we wait for it? What about the clipping? All right, the clipping already had happened. We don't have clipping at this point. There's no clipping right now. Clipping is when it's flat. If it gets flat in here, get out of that long. Get out of the long, right? But no, we haven't got there yet. But let's take a look at here. All right. So should we be getting into a long? No, I would say not right now. I think I want to hunt a little bit of a better price, even if that cost me that same better price. All right. So the first thing I'm going for, it is kind of like a trend line in here. And then looking take a look at this. Another, I mean, this trend line is it's just not good. So let me see if I can. Yeah, maybe something like this. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Something I don't like is I'm not getting this zone in here. Maybe I can do something like this. And then I have like a wedge of entry right there, right? Or even, I don't know. But this is just ridiculous. Oh, maybe. All right, maybe we're onto something. All right, maybe like this, but still, I mean, let's just keep them a little bit shaded. All right, so let's go for 1, and of course this other one lock in 1. Same thing, same deal. This one also needs to be locked. All right, perfect. So what is the point? We already have a little bit of a sweep of the lows. Yes, we have a rejection in this area. Perfect. We can get in here, and that's what I will be looking for. There we go, something like that. All right, so I would actually go and hunt a little bit of a lower price action, somewhere around 153.28, somewhere around those areas. But if this goes the other way around, guys, I'm gonna be longing this thing, all right, and then maybe head switching it to the downside. So here's the thing. If for some reason we burst in here, I'm going to be looking for my previous high and, of course, my quantum reactor. Not only that, look at this previous high, look at these previous lows. Those align very nicely in this resistance in quantum reactor. Okay? I mean, we can also do turn on our support and resistances. That'll be much easier. So we could save us a lot of time. And look at that. Well, that's not exactly what I was looking at. In fact, I was looking a little bit higher. And let's see another support and resistances. And let's just wait for it to load. Yeah, I don't see it. It's auto-calculating it. Still, we have the quantum reactor right there, right? So I will be looking for that breakout, right? Then retest. Remember, it's not about the breakout. It's about the retest. And then looking for a break of that 0 line to the upside. And then going back up like that. All right, so basically pushing down, up, and then taking my profits 50% out in here and another 50% out in there. So let's do this a little bit more professionally. All right, let's actually click this or use this tool. It's been a long time since I don't use it, and it's gonna be I would say A. So there's going to be version 2, I would call this one. Or plan B. And then plan A, most likely, would be this one, this rejection zone. Somewhere around here. Then up. And then, I don't know, something higher. Something around those areas. All right, so something along the lines in here. So breaking through the trend line in here. So another thing I'm going to be doing, it's adding alerts on these trend lines. And yeah, I mean, we're going to be trading this. All right, so let's go to SEC. SEC, we should be already into a both a long and a short. Something important, the short that I called out on Chart Prime's class, just so you guys know. Dude, I was shorting the bottom, but it actually Bitcoin went downwards here. So I don't know what the hell happening here. This was not pulled with Bitcoin. That's fine. We got a stop out, and right here we got a support back up. We were in profits at this candle, so 30 minutes ago. So guys, remember, even if we are not in full profits, remember what is the plan? Move your stop to entry because we already have a full body, body and wick in the green. I know we haven't even take the very first TP, but it is what it is. At this point, I'm going to be looking for another segment here. So it will be something like in here, right? As you can see, we have a pretty neat trend line, and we have a very first fake out, and we topped out here. Let's bring up the rest of my indicators to see how is it going, all right? And then we're going to be moving to, what was it? Hey, what's up, old said? Welcome, my friend. How's it going, bro? Let's see. Shubam, what's up, brother? Welcome. Gang, gang, gang. Let's get it. I'm bullerish. Love it. All right, so what was it? Kelly, you suggested to take a look at something, right? I cannot see it here. Did I lost it? Was it H bar? No, it wasn't on the H bar. Let me see. Hey. Swing on a PENGU. Oh, nice. Oh, it cleared till you stop. Ooh, all right. All right, so throw at me what you guys want me to take a look at, and we'll absolutely take a look at it. And by the way, guys, remember, click that like button. It really helps with the algorithm. So far, we're having the retracement, and I'm going to PENGU. Perfect. We're going to take a look at PENGU. And then we're going to be taking a possible re-entry right in here. Important. If we close right down in here, that's going to be much more dangerous than having this retracement previously looked for. And that is because we are going to be actually losing for a big body candle the trend line. Losing the trend line, losing the trend, right? So it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. And then most likely we are going to be going to visit the 483-ish area. I'm also going to be moving this a little bit higher to give myself a little bit of a buffering zone and adding an alert. If I get the rejection in here and for some miracle I break out and then continue, that is going to be my next re-entry. All right, so let's go take a look at PENGU, and I also want to go over ICP and Bitcoin. All right, PENGU, 30 minutes. Let's go to the 4 hours. All right, double bottom incoming. So there it is. We're actually looking for that pull up in here to the dynamic reactor. We fell a little bit short on that one, but look at that, it did pull up to the trend line. So it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and off we go. So technically speaking, that was a good analysis. So let's go first for this trend line here, and then finally do another one right there. So having this stop, well, then we're going through here, right? It's a very stiff climbing zone, right? So we already have the V-shaped recovery. We have a little range coming down. I believe that we might have a little bit of a ranging scenario here, or for the best part, maybe having a lower high, and then, well, the little range here, maybe breakout continuation to dynamic reactor. Let's bring up the rest of our indicators to see what kind of support and resistance we got in the way. All right, what I'm very interested on is the loud order block up in here. TAO, was that the one that you mentioned first, the TAO one? I guess. TAO and Virtuals have a nice pullback. Oh, nice. Let's go check them out too. So near has been pumping. That was the one. All right, let me do near. We're looking at PENGU. What is it? TAO. Real trolls. Oh, I also went to real trolls today in the morning. And shorting weak alts, it's good idea. Yeah, I think so. I do think so. But not if we already have this pattern, right? I mean, shorting right now, move. I don't know. Yes, you can make it, but I believe that we're going to have a push back up in here, right? And that is because we're heading to a support area right around here. So let me actually add an alert in here. We're still bullish in here. And let's take a look at our strength. Our strength is actually pushing upwards, which means we could do something like that. Maybe a double bottom. And then, I don't know. This is the incognito part, right? The incognito part. But what I'm most interested in or at, it is this trend line actually pairing with this support and the big, huge order blocking here. Magnetic action at that zone, all right? And it's highly, highly bearish. So maybe nobody's going to short it here because they want to short it up here, which means if nobody wants to short it, well, then only buyers was going to be acting upon the price action, right? So that's why a order block, it's magnetic. especially when it's highly loaded to one of the other sides, right? Because you see people allocation right there. People are wanted to short means they're not buying it, right? So if nobody, sorry, if they're not selling it, they're not selling it here. They're selling it up here, right? So if there's nobody selling it here, they are buying it. Sorry, I did had a little slipping there. So they are buying it, therefore pushing or pulling the price action towards the liquidity area. All right, so once we see here, I'm gonna be going for, hey, you know what, we might be making a little bit of a ranging here, and then let's see how that will migrate. Because once again, I mean, we have an 83% bearish order blocking here, loud order block once again, and the damn thing did not care, and well, it kept dropping like a rock. But right here we have the pull up, break of the trend line. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. I think we have a real chance to actually hit the 0.01. So what's going to be the deal in here? All right, so I'm gonna be looking for a possible long. All right, guys, danger Will Robinson, please.
Danger Will Robinson.
All right, danger Will Robinson. All right, and I'm not gonna be taking the long in here until or unless it has the certain characteristic. Let me first mark it. All right, so danger Will Robinson. Perfect. Danger Will Robinson here. And my stop loss, it should be right around this area and a little bit lower at 0.013. Guys, very important. I want you guys to notice I'm already, even if I haven't decided if I'm going to be jumping into the trade, I already have decided what's going to be or very close, what's going to be my entry zone, the interest characteristics, and most importantly, the stop loss area. Why? I need a plan, right? Of course, at my entry is the only thing that is going to be moving up and down all around like this, right? But the stop loss area, it's going to stay the same, and when taking profits also, they're going to stay the same. All right, and that is because as soon as or if the asset gets the characteristics that I'm looking and I decide last minute to enter, I already have built up the plan for it. Okay, which means I don't need to guess. All right, I don't need to think about anything else. I just need to look at the thing and say, hey, does it still make sense? And if the answer is yes, well, then I just punch the numbers in bluffing or whatever you guys are training with. All right, bluffing, whatever, right? So the point is, hey, my play, how's it going, my friend? So the point is that, hey, even if I don't take it, I already have the plan for it, right? So great. What if the thing keeps dropping? Well, then, of course, I'm not going to try to take it, right? And if I do, well, I'm going to hedge it out. How and where? With a BOS trade like this, all right? Break of structure trade continuation. Although I don't think that's going to happen, but the next support is all the way down to 0.0106. That's a pretty good drop, right? To be honest. All right, so here's the thing. What am I looking to long this thing? First, not too much spaghetti, because that also gets in the way. All right, so let's clean that up. Second, I want to see bullishness in this thing. Yep, this is bullish. All right, perfect. But how is the actual strength looking, right? I mean, this is pretty, I don't know, pretty normal. Although it's rising back up, well, this thing is just flat. I want the actual thing, this purple, to have like a very nice, like, curl to it or line back up to it like this. All right, that's what I want to see. If I see that, that's what I'm going to be trying first to long it at the support. And of course, I want to see the flip of the ribbon and then breaking through my zero line. Let's actually add that zero line in here. Let's lock it and let's go for 0, of course, and click OK. That's what I want to see. If the price action gets in here, right? If the price action gets in there and I don't have a flip of the ribbon, I'm not taking it. All right, let's go to 30 minutes because this is the 4 hours. Let's go to 30 minutes. And right here, I'm starting to see a flag out area. That doesn't mean that we're going to have a support. Oh, spoiler alert, we do. All right. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to have a support. But it makes sense to have a support because I'm in previous areas of liquidity. All right. Right here. Look at that. Resistance, support, or support, resistance, and then back at support. Right. So hovering over here, especially having the quantum reactor at this area acting as a support. And don't get me wrong, we do have a reversal coming down, reversal, range. That means further move to the downside. How far back down? Well, it could be just a little leg in here. Look at where is our entry, right? Just below to make that fake out and then maybe come back up. We already have seen this behavior happen, all right? But let's actually nail this thing down. So where is our support? Where is our resistance? And how can we maybe pinpoint that entry? So let's actually bring up the indicators. We already have seen it. Look at that. We're building up a liquidity zone in here and another liquidity zone all the way down here, right? Not a surprise at all on those ones. What it actually made things interesting, here it is. The area of support, the order block out support. So people are starting to allocate a little bit of that based on the 30 minutes. We do have a loud order block. If we go to the 4 hours, that order block is just not big enough for the 4 hour to actually care about it. All right. But still, there's an 80% support zone. All right. So, and we also have this area. So I believe that we can do something like that once again, and then maybe consume the loudness of this order block and then make a trip to this area right here for TP number 1. All right, remember TP number 1, TP number 2, and then finally TP number 3 at the top. All right, Hail Mary target. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Always needed plan B, and you always needed plan A and plan B. Perfect. So far so good. What is going to be the actual bearish scenario? That when we pierce this thing, the quantum reactor actually turns red. Danger, Will Robinson. All right. Most likely, we're going to make a little bit of a retracement, hit it, and then continue downwards into the next area of support. All right. So right here is where you hit switch on the breakout retest. That's where you hit switch again, and then you short it, and once again all the way down here we start looking for another long on PENGU. So very important. Also mentioned, hey, maybe shorting the weak coins. That is a fantastic idea. That is actually a fantastic idea, but we need that retest, right, or that bounce up to actually position ourselves. Like for example in here we have a very nice drop, bounce up, position yourself, reversal, bouncing up, dynamic reactor, peak performance diamond, losing the bullishness, losing your zero line. Dude, that was easy. That was easy, right? And then off we go. So the same thing we're going to be looking for in here, right? We are on the way down. On the way down, we want to look for a bounce up here, maybe to squeeze a little bit more out of the PENGU, right? But the actual important trade is going to happen after the bounce up and then losing, not to hit, not to go above the previous high, basically creating a lower high. And then we're going to be looking for first double bottom or triple bottom, and second a lower low. So that's why just like longing this, we have TP number 1, 2, and 3. Same thing we're going to be going for shorting this TP number 1, 2, and 3. All right, so we got PENGU out of the way. Let's check out what was the other one. Actually, I was looking at LDO, but I think that can wait. It's nothing too interesting at this point. It is ranging, but after a whole bunch of volatility, which is good, right? And we're getting closer. Here it is. We already have the reversal, and we're getting closer to the dynamic reactor. Important. Just after the dynamic reactor breakout, all right, breakout retest. Oh, come on. Breakout retest continuation. It starts to look juicy, especially because in the higher time frames, in the 4 hours, and this is what it actually looks good. We're having a higher low in here, right? So far looking great. Look at that itty bitty tiny part of your oscillator. So right here, right, it's green. Not only that, look at your leading indicator. Garrett, remember, we still not have the clipping, but it's pointing upwards, right? That is what we're expecting. The clipping actually happened. It doesn't happen in the center, right? Little caveat here, and I think this is the confusing part, maybe. All right, let me turn off the oscillator. Not because it flats out means clipping. Clipping, it is at this line in here or at this line in here, right? This is clipping. This is clipping. Right? This could be clipping, but it's not quite clipping. This is clipping, right? This is clipping. This is clipping. And this one's not really, but they could. Why do they could? Because they're very close to the same area, all right? But actually clipping, it's at that fainted line right there. But yeah, I mean, I think you got the concept great. Just the positioning, what might be missing in the clipping idea. But great. By the way, being horizontal, that's a bad thing, all right? So just saying. Let's go take a look at the rest of the oscillators here. So let's bring the main oscillator zone. And we're curling back up. This is very, very exciting on the 4 hours. All right, so I would actually kind of like go for a long at this point. But man, recently, I mean, we don't have confirmation. And recently, the trades that I haven't waited for confirmation, look at that. We can still go higher. They haven't been fully developed, right? So I rather wait for confirmation on this trade. Let's actually lock this trend line, and of course add an alert to it. So let me click it and let's add an alert to it. All right, perfect. I think we got it covered, both of those, top and bottom. And despite whatever might happen, this is a good area for a possible entry. All right, so we still don't have the flip of the ribbon. We still don't have the break of the ribbon, but our leading indicator is pointing. All right, that is for the 4 hours. On the 30 minutes, let's see. When it point upwards and crosses the zero line, should we go long? The answer is that is not enough information. It's a leading indicator. So if it points upwards and it crosses the zero line, you have a very good chance that it will go up. But hey, do you have flip of the ribbon on your other oscillator? Do you have, for example, this one in here, right? And right now, let's go for the long. It actually, you know, let's go for the long. We have it. Let's go. We have confirmation. Let's go. Let's get it. Oh man, but we have the resistance in here. Important. Danger Will Robinson. Danger Will Robinson. This is gonna be our trade. Come on, this is very tiny. All right, it's 1 to 1, 1 to 1 2. All right, so just remember, this is very tiny. We have the confirmation, but we're against it. We are against the courts. If you want to wait for the retracement and then enter. All right, this is a front running entry. So I'm not gonna be able to take it. First, I don't have my broker open, and then I rather wait for the actual confirmation. All right, so let's get this out of the way because I'm not gonna be logging this. We're very close, but if you guys have wanted to long this, be my guess. I think this is still a good area. Just compensate for the possible pullback. And 1 second. And hey JB, how's it going, brother? So yeah, to answer your question, it's not about one single indicator. But yeah, look at that. Let's just get rid of this. And let's wait for it. Come on. And there it is. All right, so it was pointing up, crossing over. It's not a full call out for long, right? But it does give you the heads up that, hey, you know, we're going higher. But I'd rather wait for this because look at your resistance in here, right? If it goes flat, be careful. That's why I mentioned flat is not good on the True 7. If this goes flat, be careful because then most likely it's going to reverse. But yeah, great question there, Gare. Love it, love it. All right, so I already have an alert. And maybe I'm going to be looking for a shorting here. We'll see how the oscillator behaves. Oh, what a bummer. Look at that. It's actually going up. All right, let's go. This was LDO. Oh, man. Garrett, come on. You're giving me FOMO, bro. All right, let's go and check out, what was it? Near TAO and Virtuals. Let's go check out Near. Wait. Did I add alerts? Yes. All right. Then you know what? Let's push it here. Near. We have an ongoing analysis on Near. Yes, we do. Oh, look at this. All right, it's actually pumping. All right, so Near, when is it going to stop? I don't know, but we could be looking for a possible retracement. There we go. Look at this. It's not about your breakout. It's about your retest buy signal. Flip of the ribbon. Yeah, we have a bearish divergence. We still have, and boom. Chakalaka. Perfect. Look at this. Like it. All right, so I think we're missing Bitcoin, to be honest. We're getting closer to an area of resistance in here. Let me bring this up, all right? We have a liquidity zone right in here, I would say. Right, and we can see those peaks, like bottom, top, right? Perfect. So there it is. Let me actually clean this up a little. Let's add this TP number 1, all right? I'm going to be looking for this to reverse. I'm going to be looking for this to reverse. And like before, I'm going to be looking for my 372 go horizontal. And WSEC is still a monster. And it uses deer intense to shield PXNS. Oh. That looks interesting. All right. I did not thought of it. All right, guys. Remember, click that like button. It really helps with the algorithm. But thank you. All right. Right here, we have our next area of resistance. Let's bring up the rest of my indicators. And, well, we have it a little bit higher. Right here, we have a liquidity zone. So let's actually move it. Let me get rid of this one in here because we're getting closer to the actual resistance in here. Let's see if we have anything else. Yep, another resistance right there. And let's see anything else that we might have in the way. Any smart money entries? Not really too big of a volume to be smart money. Not really, not smart money entries. Areas of ranging all the way up in here. Well, seems like we are pretty much a clear path to the top in here. Still, I'm not gonna be longing this right there. We have this trend line, and until I have or I create another maybe low to create a better trend line like this, I think I'm not gonna be longing this. I need for it to flag out like it did here, like it did here. So once we see that flagging out, maybe start considering jumping in. But yeah, it actually looks juicy. All right. Maybe looking for a short. Let's see if we have anything else before we call the short zone. And let's wait. Not really. Look at that. Beautiful support right here. So let's call for the short zone. So this is going to be the shorting zone. Again, not because we are in the shorting zone means that we're going to blindly open a short, all right? Let's actually name this looking for shorts or a breakout retest. Right, Bart, not Bart Simpson. That's not good because we're gonna think that it's Bart Simpson. But it's a what is it? Breakout retest. Perfect. All right, so far so good. We're going to be looking for that area of rejection. And of course, I want to see a loss of my zero line in here or crossing over, having a reversal diamond and this thing going parabolically high like this, all right? We already have seen that, like, for example, right here. Look at that. As we cross over, you see, the thing turns around sharply, right? So it wasn't quite exactly, but as it crossed over, we still went upwards in here, right? So there it is, like this. It goes down, then upwards in here, right? It did not actually cross over, but the point is that we need to be blue. right? And then pointing upwards in here for us to go for the short up in here. But so far, so good. I mean, I would not be, again, long in this thing until it actually breaks out, retest, and continue. Or we have a rejection, and we end up somewhere around 2-ish. 2.073 or something like that. Thank you. Really appreciate it. All right, let's go take a look at TAO. TAO got me excited. You know, guys, we've been training TAO. And the thing, actually, there was a moment that it was just giving and giving and giving. All right, not looking great, to be honest. Not looking great. And we were looking for that breakout retest continuation. I do recall this stopped out. That's fine. We created a range. Perfect. And let me clear this up. We did not set ranging scenarios, but look at that beautiful ranging zone. Man, if we would have just extended this thing here. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. It would have been a fantastic area. All right, so maybe at the end of the range, I need to see, and I want to see my volatility, prime score, not prophecy, and consolidation score. Let's click OK, and of course, let's save it once it loads. So it's gonna be crucial for me. There it is. All right, let's save it. We have a reversal. Right, this is good. Going up. Reversal, ranging. All right, this tends to be to create another run up to the upside. All right, yes, we are below the zero line technically, but it looks like it wants to bounce back up. Let's take a look at our consolidation score. It's 10, unicorn number. Let me know how many times you've seen that 10 like this. Oh boy. All right, prime score very negative. All right, so far it's telling me that it's going to go lower. All right. So it's telling me that it's going to go lower. So we need to trade this range as we trade any other range. We have right here a counter indication. So first, this one is leading me to believe that it's going to have one more leg to the upside. But right here, my optimal tuning, I don't need that optimal tuning. What did I put in here? Click OK, let's save it. And once again, okay, perfect. And then this prime score is telling me that we are very, very bearish, but the optimal and my consolidation score is telling me that we are about to break that consolidation. All right, so what is it going to be? A short or a long? I believe that I would rather go for a long. And let me show you here, since we have had a range, right, with higher or bigger movement to the upside than movement to the downside. Yeah, this one was shorter, but look at this one, right? And you can see the size of the mountains in here, right? Bigger bullish, lower bearish. Bigger bullish, lower bearish. Bigger bullish, maybe lower bearish. And we might be able to have that crossover here. And finally, breakout, retest, continuation, and then drop back down. All right, so let's go and take a look at a couple of areas of entry. Let me bring up the rest of my indicators in here and see what else can I read about it. First, we are hovering over the money flow area, but that is not a surprise. That is at the top of the bridge. Let's see if we have anything else in here. What I'm interested on is in the order blocks. All right, ranging zone, perfect, and we are ranging. Nothing to actually, not surprising here. Let's see what else. On resistance, daily resistance, but again, it's being played out very nicely. And already have breakout retest. See what else? All right. We do have a trend line here. Fair enough. And I want to take a look at my FIVP finally. All right, this is it. Perfect. I think that we're going to be longing this thing. We're going to be trying to long it really low. All right. I think that we might still have a little bit more to go right here. Something like that. Maybe a little bit lower for that flip of the ribbon. And a little bit more development in here. We're going to be looking for... We're not going to get the peak performance time. All right. We're not going to get that. Because we're too... I think we're going to be too low. But we're going to be looking for that valley bottom. All right. I estimate that we're gonna have that valid bottom right here at 89K, somewhere around here. In fact, a little bit higher. I'm gonna try to long end right there. Let's see if we can get it, and if not, on the breakout retest. Right, this might be a little hard fish to catch. I'm just saying. All right, TP1 and then TP2 here. How's Alaska? Let's get it. Infinite Team, how's it going? Welcome, French Toaster. Welcome, my friend. Great to have you here. All right, so let's... Hey, Mike Volmer in the house. How's it going, brother? Welcome. All right, so let's take a look at virtuals, and that's going to be the end of the show. And guys, we have skipped Bitcoin, to be honest. Let's do Bitcoin because we can... Dude, we've been kind of like a blindly looking at this. I already have seen Bitcoin, all right? I need to tell you that, but we haven't done it in the show. So let's go over Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we're having that same pattern. Something that I'm not liking about this, it is that we have generated this loud order block. But let me clear this up. But we are kind of like making a pennant in here. Let me just confirm that. Yes, look at this pennant in here. All right, pennant, a symmetrical triangle on the way down. That tends to mean that we're gonna go lower. What is our lower target? 98. Are we still on the short? Of course, we're still on the short. All right, it's been a pretty good short that we took yesterday, or that we should have taken yesterday. Remember, we talked about this breakout retest continuation. So let's get it. Let's take a look at it. Finally, virtuals. Important. If we, before we move in here, all right, if we break to the upside in here and then we hit this area, be careful. We just have a lot of resistance in here, right? And that's going to be a good area to short it as long as we see the flip of the ribbon in here. All right, so I am expecting for this thing to turn around, even if we don't make this, if we don't make a lower high in here. So something like that. All right, great. All right, perfect. Let's finalize it with virtuals. Let's get it. Did I actually? Oh, look at that. This thing did not save. Why? Actually do this. Yeah, leave, save, and let's do. All right, virtuals is still within. We actually had an ongoing analysis on the 4 hours. All right, we are looking for a breakout retest. Remember, we're looking for this area for an entry. Why? Let me turn off my FIVP, sorry. And remember, it's pointing downwards, right? Look at your quantum reactor. It's red. Who mentioned this? All set. Yeah, all set. Shorting virtuals. Good idea. So far, good idea, right? And better than, look at that, we're gaining some backwards momentum. Yes, we have a possible reversal here. We're still pretty bearish, all right? And what I'm going to be looking for is something like this. Maybe we can go to our predicted zone in here, all right? See if we can range at that area, and then we need to complete the analysis. But I believe that here we go. In fact, we have a big X in here because there's an empty space. But let's bring up the bulk of the indicators. Here it is. And look at this channel of entry, right? Yes, we have a big support, but breakout retest, continuation downwards, range. And then if we don't hold the 108, the 109, well, all the way to 0.86. So I believe this is going to be a good one. Let me actually add an alert in here. A little bit higher, and that's gonna work for me to bounce back down. All right, so what if it goes all the way up? Remember, I'm not gonna be entering here just because it's on the price zone. I'm gonna be entering there because I would be above the zero line, or even rejecting off the zero line, or having this turn around. All right, so until I don't see this turnaround, right here's what I'm gonna be trying to jump in. Even if the price is a little bit higher, right? It will still be creating a lower high. So far so good. It looks bearish to me. We're technically bearish. And yep, this is gonna be looking juicy. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. A really quick reminder: click that like button. Really helps. And as always, see you guys tomorrow morning. We're gonna keep track on these trades, how they played out, and also we're gonna set up for before this class so we can, connect in this way. We are having before night and in morning, so we check out both throughout the day and night. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining, and as always, see you guys tomorrow.
Bitcoin is going to zero.
Double kill.
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to